Digital 410 Media proudly presents the What's the Scuttlebutt Podcast with your hosts, Don Abernathy, Jeff Copsetta, and Dennis Blocker.
The reason I'm wearing this shirt tonight, and we were talking before the show, the reason Jeff is part of this podcast is because of a production of a movie called Walking Point. And the lead character was not the human. The lead character was the dog Duke.
Yeah, well, for those of you who don't follow Walking Point or Canine Duke on social media, but you're familiar with Walking Point, the movie. Yeah, we lost Duke today. He had been suffering for some time, and I only know what Ed has told me, which is his handler and fellow lawman from Menlo Park, California. And Ed's become a really just such a close friend since production, and we've always stayed in touch. And I feel for him. But a lot of people don't get to share a working relationship with their dog, right? It's their comfort. It's something they come home to. But Duke and Ed have been a team for years. Duke has been a drug dog at Menlo Park. Duke was not just one heck of a dog; he was one heck of a police officer. And that team of Ed and Duke is really truly an inspiration, I think, for all law enforcement agencies in a place that's pretty tough to be a lawman today. Obviously we feel for Ed and the entire Menlo Park Police Department because of Duke's contributions. And unfortunately, like I told Don earlier, Duke now joins all of the dogs that we used in the production of Walking Point, as they are now all gone to the other side. And I think it's a reminder why it's so important to keep our greatest generation alive, because Duke, and because of Duke, I learned so much about what dogs did in World War II. Dogs have been a big part of the American military for 80 plus years. So Duke has been a reminder of that. If I could tell anybody who knew Duke, or got to pet him, or got to have him stand up on your knee, he's got to be one of the most well documented dogs that I'll probably ever know. And like I posted earlier, he's probably the coolest, hardest working four-legged co-star I'll ever know.
So, Corporal, what's it like out there?
Know where I got these boots?
Oh, great. Here come the boots again.
Nobody gives a shit, Gregory.
I took those boots from a
Jap with his own machete. We've heard the story.
Body was still warm.
And he didn't take the boots off.
He really, truly was the star of the film and was the backbone of why we made that film. And the inspiration that RJ had to write the script, write the book, and shuck out a lot of money to make sure that thing happened. So unfortunately, yeah, today we lost Duke at the age of 9. And again, he's never forgotten, and we'll just continue to honor the legacy of not only Duke, but all the dogs that served in the Dogs for Defense programs in World War II and in law enforcement today.
And the audience probably don't realize this, because Duke was a dog of so few words when it came to microphones. He's just kind of microphone shy. He's actually appeared on this podcast twice. Obviously, the first time was when we did the rap party with the Walking Point crew. He was in the room. He didn't have much to say, but he was there. And then on the follow-up episode, probably a year later, RJ and Chelsea and Ed and Duke were in Orlando, Florida at the AKC dog show. The Florida Doberman group brought them in, and RJ called me up, said, hey, we got this booth down here at the convention center. We're, trying to promote our books and our movies. Can you come down here with any of your artifacts and decorate our booth? And so I brought down my mannequin with all my Marine Corps gear and my tins and Mike Cott and I set up the background, and we set up the podcast studio, and we did a podcast. I think we're probably one of the only World War II based podcasts to do a episode from a AKC dog show. So we got that in our midst. But yeah, I sat there with them for 8 hours, and seeing Duke in that environment, right? Because you're talking about him being a working dog for the police, working dog for the movie set. In 2020, he appeared on A&E's reality show, America's Top Dog. He was on that as well. And to go from that to see him kind of lounging and then obviously following commands. And as Jeff said, I saw it in firsthand. People would come in the booth, sit down, and either Ed would sit down next to him, then Duke would jump up in his lap and pose and do these posing shots. And that kind of poor Duke, God love him. Duke at this point had been so programmed for photo ops because of him appearing in schools, appearing in movies, Instagram, that when he was on Top Dog and running the obstacle course, there's this part where Ed had to lift him up. But Duke's like, oh, photo shoot time. So he put his hands up on Ed's back and pose. And this is a timed event. And so he was just so used to when Ed got in certain positions, okay, it's time for me to perform and do my photo shoot. So sometimes if you watch that episode, Ed's trying to get him to do certain movements, but he's confused. I'm thinking, well, there's cameras here, there's lights here, there's an audience. It's time to pose. And so it's
Hollywood.
He was such a well-behaved dog. He was so smart and just charismatic. And so Duke, you will be missed. And as we cannot, if it wasn't for that movie, if it wasn't for the fact that I followed the Marine Corps Museum in Texas, the Instagram page, and saw them post a picture, hey, this is a production we're doing, and reaching out. You want to talk about kismet, right? Meant to be. Imagine this, Dennis. I don't think you ever heard a story. How I found out about Walking Point is I saw the Instagram post about the dogs. And so I reached out to RJ production company and I said, hey, my name's Don Abernathy. I host a World War II podcast. I saw the photos. I'd be interested to have you guys on to promote your project. And we went back and forth. Like, where are you located? Oh, I'm located in Florida. Well, hey, by the way, we're shooting the final few scenes in Florida on this old coconut plantation. Would you be interested to come out to the house where we're staying at to record? I'm like, sure. Where are you guys shooting this at? And they said, are you familiar with Pine Island, Matlacha? I said, yeah, Matlacha is exactly 5.5 minutes from my dad's house. So not only were they coming to Florida, they were shooting in my backyard.
That's awesome.
So it went from me coming down and shooting their wrap-up party to, well, you're here in town. Feel free to come out to the set. So I was out on set that entire day.
Hey, just want to give you guys a heads up. The Waterman and D-Train show will not be running tonight because I am on location with the film crew of an independent film, World War II film called Walking Point. It's about a young private who is a dog handler in Guam during World War II, whose primary objective is not only to return home safe, but to get his donated dog back to its family. And after we're done filming here, I'm going back to the house to record interviews with the cast, the crew, the actors, the director.
I actually helped Jeff get some of the uniform stuff on the actors and all that, and had a great time. But yeah, if it wasn't for that movie, Jeff wouldn't be sitting here. And then by proxy, you wouldn't be sitting here because I wouldn't know you. So that movie is the reason the two of you are part of this podcast.
That's cool.
So it all just kind of fell in line to get us all, the three of us here where we are today.
And you know how I knew I was going to like Don? Because that's the first time I met him, right? We're in that coconut palm tree grove. Dude wears P42 frog skin USMC trousers on set.
With my boondockers.
Like this
never
guy.
know. You
and
never
you knew
know
how
when
to put
they need
leggings
extra.
on.
And I have my full uniform in the truck. I'm like, hey, if they need somebody to walk through the back of a frame, I brought everything but my blanks. I had my M1 with me. I had a full uniform, helmet. I shaved, had my pack. I'm like, if they need anybody just filling a frame in the background, I'm good to go. But yeah, we had a good time.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
That's great.
I feel like watch him. Watch him. Watch him. Watch him. Watch him. Watch him. Watch him.
That's great.
I didn't, of course, know Duke, but I think I can with my, writing about war dogs, Iraq and Afghanistan. I think I can speak to what Duke embodied in that movie. He embodied a battle buddy who was always down. He was always down to do whatever you wanted to do 24/7. Never grumbled, never complained. He's always going to go. He's going to go with you. Love unconditionally, always be by your side, do everything within his power to protect you. That kind of commitment, that especially that breed, the Doberman Pinscher and the Belgian Malinois nowadays, which we use, the German Shepherds always, of course. But it's just that commitment, that just always vigilant, always by your side, no matter what you're going through. He's not going to complain. He's not going to bellyache. He's not going to complain about the food or the lack of food. He's not going to complain that it's too cold or he needs another pair of another uniform, or he's not going to complain about the mud. He's just gonna soldier on, and it's friggin'. I just love him so much. I don't know how we got lucky enough to have dogs, but it's a very unique relationship there.
One more behind the scene thing, and I'm sure Jeff remembers this. Duke was a stuntman. Duke had jobs to do. And in one of the scenes, Duke had to jump from off frame and attack the Japanese soldier. And so the original idea is we're going to set up a folding table off scene, put Duke on the table. Ed's going to give us commands. He's going to run and jump on the actor playing the Japanese soldier. And we tried this 4 or 5, 6 times, and the table was just too slippery. It just didn't work. So at a certain point, Ed moved the table, grabbed Duke, and said, "Ready, aim, action."
Down! Cut!
Just kind of did a potato sack shuffle, and it worked out perfect. He landed on the soldier, did the attack, and it was just so funny to see him try to jump off that. Come here, 1, 2.
Movie magic.
I get that question. I get that question more than I think anything else, and I just fielded it. The episode should be dropping shortly from World War II Above and Below. That was one thing that Mitch asked me. He's like, "All right," he said, "it looks super real. I've watched this movie 100 times. Is that actually him and the actor in the same frame? Like, how did y'all do it?" Yeah, we literally just threw him on there.
Down! Cut!
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good times. Good times.
Shoot!
I'll see you on the other side